In Italy, there is no mixing between fiscal year and calendar year. With very few exemptions, they are the same. So from January 1st to December 31st. We are talking about tax obligations that take place the following fiscal year. So, for example, regarding fiscal year 2020, all the filings and forms must be delivered in 2021. Anyway, this is a time range we must consider pretty straightforward. Many of you may come from different regulations, such as United Kingdom or United States, where fiscal years are across the calendar year. This is the reason why filing your taxes in both countries, Italy and the other one, may lead to a lot of mistakes due to different deadlines and also different ways to pay your taxes or receive a refund. Hopefully, in this case, tax treaties in force can give you a nice help, but the application, trust me, is far from simple. In order to avoid any kind of misunderstanding, the Italian Revenue Agency gave us a simple rule. You must pay your taxes on the cash basis. So this means you must take into consideration every single source of income, rental, passive, personal income, that you earn within the fiscal time range. The same principle is applied on capital gains and deductions. So if the tax treaty between your country and Italy gives you the opportunity to offset foreign taxes already paid, for example, you must take a look at what you already paid there. The cash basis is very easy to apply from an Italian point of view, since every document and invoice is made for this, to understand and define the payment date from the invoicing date. When you file your worldwide income, please rely to a trustworthy and expert tax professional in Italy. Let's take a look at the tax calendar. There are some months where you can almost sleep like a baby, and others where you must pay a lot of attention to deadlines and obligations. We can agree on a simple statement. June and November are the worst ever because you must file your taxes and you have to pay your balance and account taxes due in Italy. During the year, there are several dates you may skip depending on your working status or source of income. Anyway, we always suggest to double check year by year because some cases could change along your stay in Italy. Every new year, a new obligation. January is there to welcome you with a very uncommon and curious obligation. As you know, here in Italy, you must pay a sort of government tax for the use of television you own. It's weird, isn't it? The name of the administrative division is RAI, R-A-I. So it may happen for some of you not to owning any device, or simply you watch Netflix or Disney Plus on other devices. In these cases, you better send RAI a special request in order to not receive the pre-filled form. Maybe you did not have the chance yet. If you take a look at your gas or electricity bill, the service provider not only charges for the supply, but also a fixed amount for this television tax. Usually they split it in few rounds, so you don't even notice. Anyway, if you send the request by January, they cannot include any extra fee in your bill and you can save around 100 euros per year. In February, you can definitely enjoy your Italian stay, waiting for March to come. If you're an employee working for an Italian company or an Italian branch of a foreign company, they must give you this official document. It's presented as a recap of the gross received, all the taxes and pension contributions paid on your behalf, and any relatives tax credit given in your payslip. A copy of this document is given to every employee, and listen carefully, all the information are automatically delivered to the Italian Revenue Agency. So in case they put a wrong number, for example, exceeding what you actually received, or another mistake, and you declare the right number, well, the Italian Revenue Agency will find a mismatch between the two of them. And guess what? More likely you will receive an audit. So please always double check the numbers and the figures with your employer and your tax consultant before sending. Let's skip April, Easter time, and spring to start. May is waiting for us. In Italy, the Italian Revenue Agency has a big mission and at the same time tries to promise something very big, giving all the taxpayers a pre-filled pre-made tax form, but basically you just have to double check it and confirm. Honestly, it seems like a very good initiative. It helps a lot in case of either situations, and you can say it all the time. I'm sorry to remind you, we are in Italy, and bureaucracy can lead to missing information along the way. So for example, you might find all the medical expenses already uploaded, same for house renovation cost and Italian source of income, medical expenses, and so on. On the other side, numbers are far from being correct. And most of the times you have to add some more values. We like to think about it as a draft, a guide that walks you through in order to make as less mistakes as possible. As you can easily guess, if you accept the draft as it is, yes, you can have a discount of penalties in case of audit, but there is a lot of money potentially missing if the draft is incorrect. Now, I have to kindly ask you to sit down, take your notes, and say a few informations for the next year. June is the hottest month of the Italian tax year. Take your pocket out and get ready to see some money living. By June 15, if you own any property in Italy, you haven't moved your legally residency yet, so it's not considered your first and main house, you have to pay the Italian real estate tax named IMU, IMU. In a nutshell, you must pay a percentage of your property value year by year, and this sum is divided in two rounds. One by June 15, the other one by December 15. It's around 1%, but every comune can change the tax rate. This is a pretty uncommon tax because you must pay it for the current year and not take any information back. The payment is made by F24, or so-called Modello F24, and you have to estimate yourself the total due. So no pre-made form unless you're lucky and the local administration sends hard copies to residents. By June, it could be 15th, or by the end of the month, you must pay all the taxes resulting from the tax form. Worldwide income and assets, remember. So net of any discount provided by tax treaties, if any, you have to pay your balance taxes to the Italian Revenue Agency. You may happen to pay not just the balance due for the previous tax year, but also the first payment on account, usually goes with the 40% of the total for the current fiscal year. So as a recap, by June, you must deal with property taxes, wealth tax, personal income taxes, as balance and as account. In case you're out of money, or simply you forgot about it, you can pay those taxes by July with 0.4% plus of interest. In my personal opinion, it's very useful to avoid audits. So I keep on saying you're never too late to pay your Italian taxes. Also, in case the total due in June is too much for you to handle, you can also split the payment in 5 or 6 rounds from June to November. By September, you can, or you must, it depends, file your Italian taxes using a special form named Modello 730, Modello 730. If you're receiving an Italian pension from INPS, for example, or you're working for an Italian entity, you might find this alternative very, very useful. In few words, in case of taxes to be paid, these will be held by your employer in the payslip of July or August. Conversely, if you're entitled for a refund, you will get it added to the salary they usually receive. It's a quicker way to pay your taxes, but within certain strict conditions. It's not for everyone. If you want or you can't use this form, you have to go to a CAF, Centro Assistenza Fiscale. In October, well, you can take a vacation, relax a little bit, and warm up for November. By the end of November, you must pay any remaining balance and account taxes according to what you've done in June. More likely the second round of payments on account, the 60% left. But most important, by November, you must officially file your taxes, delivering the tax form to the Italian Revenue Agency. It's kind of funny how you must pay the first round in June, while you can file everything by November. How can you predict the total due without filing? Well, never mind. Anyway, for this simple question, I have an easy answer. Just ask your tax guy or tax firm that you work with for a good estimate for the past and the current fiscal year. It's very useful to plan and see if there is something you can use as credit before the official deadline. Modello Redditi is divided into several sections, more than 20. So please use just the ones you're entitled to. And in case of tax refund, it could take up to 4 years for you to receive the money back. So what we suggest is to use this credit to offset any tax debit resulting. For example, for IMU or wealth tax, you can do it only by using the F24 form. December is walking next to you towards the end of the calendar year. So before Christmas time and holidays, it's time to pay the second round of the property tax due on Italian real estate, if not your primary residency. IMU, remember. In 15 years of experience around that, we see a lot of people getting scared of making a mistake, of skipping a deadline, getting scared of the Italian bureaucracy in general. Well, you don't need to. In case you made a mistake, you have up to 4 years to fix it. Voluntary, before getting audited. Thanks to this ravvedimento operoso, if there is anything exceeding taxes to pay, you can add some penalties to the total and get everything in order, back to the right track. Same if you skip a deadline. There's some interest to pay for the delay, but then you're okay. In case you feel like you want to give yourself a chance and test your skill, in Italy it's possible to file your taxes without any professional help, by yourself. As I said before, the starting point is the pre-made draft. And you may find it useful to take a look before hiring anyone, just to have an idea. Taxes are scary, even more if you have to deal with them in a foreign country, in a foreign language. At the same time, remember that every time you file something tax-wise, there is your codice fiscale printed on the very head of every page. So it's your due diligence and right to understand the content, where the numbers come from, and ask for explanation. I know that the language barrier is a tough enemy. Some topics in the fiscal matter are very challenging to understand in Italian, so being able to discuss and agree in English, for example, takes a lot of practice and expertise. I would say years. As you know, I don't like to sell anything. I just want you to understand how obligations in Italy work. So you have the time to get in touch with someone able to help you out, and most important, having the chance to understand the kind of help you need from them. If your situation is simple, a CAF-CEF is a nice deal. If you have foreign assets, capital gains, or foreign source of income, well, you might deal with an investment decision and ask yourself, what's the value of a good Italian tax consultant?